Good morning, everybody. You know, I had something funny here for the intro, but in light of recent events, I think I'll just show you this.
Damn, it feels good to be a gangster.
Good evening. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden, the leader of Al-Qaeda. I killed bin Laden.
I'm even wearing my Barack Obama shirt today in honor of it. Check it out. The following comments are taken from editions of Mail Call, printed in the Herald-Mail from April 18th through April 29th, 2011, which can be viewed online in their entirety at www.herald-mail.com. First up, from Keedysville, I'm wondering if someone could help me who I should contact about a dog that barks all night long. It started already, and it's 12:30 right now, and he's been barking ever since 11:30, and it goes on all night long and throughout the day even at times. Could someone please help me in this situation of who to call and contact about this? Has talking to the dog's owner even crossed your mind? See, I don't know what I find more irritating. People who call into Mail Call bitching and moaning about how the government is encroaching on their freedoms and trying to run their lives, or people who call into Mail Call asking strangers for advice on how to run their lives. Or maybe it's the gnawing suspicion that there's an awful lot of overlap between the two groups. And people don't even call for advice on important stuff or serious or heavy stuff. It's always shit that they should already know, or at least know how to work out for themselves. People aren't calling in asking, should I put my senile mother into a home? They're calling in asking, what do I do about the barking dog? Do you really need to publicly solicit help to figure this out? This has to be said about the state of Maryland passing in-state tuition for illegal immigrants. Doesn't everybody say illegal immigrants only take the jobs Americans don't want? I guess we don't want to be doctors, teachers, or lawyers anymore either. That is all this country needs, illegal immigrants becoming lawyers, and the next step is becoming a politician and making our laws. Of course, we don't need laws if illegal doesn't mean anything to anyone anymore. Cave Town. Okay, you know what? This needs to be said about the way people like the Cave Town caller here think about the illegal immigration issue. And I know what I'm about to say is going to sound a little simplistic, and believe me, it's just one facet of my thinking on this issue. My full opinion on illegal immigration is a lot more complex than this, but this needs to be said nonetheless. Why is it that people are okay with the law being malleable as long as it benefits them or people that they like, but they're absolutely offended by the very idea if they think that it benefits someone they don't like? For instance, when you get pulled over by a cop for speeding, and he decides, for whatever reason, to just let you off with a warning. You have a problem with that? You were doing something illegal, you are getting away with it. Have you ever insisted to the cop that you pay the fine? Or what about a teenager who gets hauled into court for some petty crime, vandalism or petty theft or something, and the judge takes a look at him, sees that he doesn't have a record, senses that he's basically a good kid who just fucked up one time, and lets him off the hook with a stern lecture or maybe a nominal fine to cover court costs. Is that okay? That's someone doing something illegal and getting away with it. See, we tolerate the law being applied lightly or even outright ignored in situations where the cops or the judge or some other authority figure deems that it's appropriate. We think that that's beneficial. We even celebrate it. I'm not saying everybody. You might be one of these people who thinks that anyone convicted of a crime should be punished to the full extent of the law, but broadly, generally, as a society, we tolerate and even like the fact that the law is malleable and that the law can be selectively applied based on the given situation. But just let someone suggest that we take it easy on illegal immigrants who come into this country. Just let someone suggest that maybe we do something to help these people who have come here by and large to make a better life for themselves and for their families, not to rob us, not to kill us, not to get us hooked on drugs. Just let someone suggest that maybe we should make it a little easier for them to send their kids to college so that those kids could come out of college and get a job that would pay a little better than they would be able to make mopping floors or cutting lawns or working in a kitchen. Just let someone suggest that. And oh my God, you might as well not even have laws. Oh, doesn't illegal even mean anything anymore? Give me a break. And let's please stop insulting each other's intelligence by pretending that the big problem people like Cavetown have with illegal immigration is the fact that they're doing something illegal. Calling in response to the Flintstone caller in Tuesday's paper, April 12, about citizens demanding that everyone pay their fair share of taxes. Here's some food for thought on that subject, and these are facts, not generalizations. First, the top 1% of U.S. wage earners, that is, the rich. Fair share, the top 10% of earners pay 71% of federal income taxes. Is that a fair share? The bottom 40% pay negative amounts. In fact, they receive money back. Is that a fair share? Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. You have a point there. Going by your figure, the top 10% pay 71% of the income taxes, but they control 80% of the nation's wealth, which means they owe at least another 9%, just to make it fair. Why do people assume that someone else getting a raise affects your job? This is the same mentality that thinks someone else being gay affects your marriage. Hagerstown. Well, it's an attitude that's deeply ingrained in our national psyche, as American as Jesus and spaghetti. After all, was it not George Washington himself who once said, "It is not sufficient that I succeed. Everyone else must fail." I agree with the person from Hagerstown that the Barbara Ingram School should be a private school. Also, your paper covers the Barbara Ingram School, but not much is said about the other schools in the county. In short, I'm sure other schools put on plays, but not as much is said about them. The same can be said about your coverage of sports games. Sharpsburg. The Barbara Ingram School is our local arts high school. It's public, not private, so that artistically inclined students from all over the county can have the chance to attend and develop their talents without having to worry about whether their parents can afford some steep tuition. Making it a private school would entirely miss the point of having the school in the first place. And of course their productions get more coverage. That's what they're going to that school to learn to do. Those students at the Barbara Ingram School are held to a higher artistic standard. You should be happy about the extra coverage, Sharpsburg. It's ensuring that your tax dollars are being well spent. And sure, the other schools in the county still put on plays and artistic productions, but with all the talented kids going to the Barbara Ingram School, do you really want the newspaper to cover the Hancock production of Grease? I have a novel idea. Instead of the U.S. sending tons of money to foreign countries, tell those countries to borrow money from China like we do. Let them assume their own national debt and interest payments. Williamsport. Right, because we'd be much better off internationally with China taking care of our closest allies. Who needs friends anyway? Remember when teachers, public employees, Planned Parenthood, Medicare seniors, NPR, and PBS crashed the stock market, wiped out half of our 401ks, took trillions in TARP money, spilled oil in the Gulf of Mexico, gave themselves billions in bonuses, and paid no taxes? Yeah, me neither. Falling Waters, West Virginia. Well said. But, come on, man. What are you doing calling in the mail call? I mean, look, I have to do this. You see this? You don't want to end up like this. You're better than this. You need to just put the paper down, okay? Go out into the world, live, teach, help people, make the world a better place. You don't want this. I wanted so much more for you. Thank you. Publishing the people's salary for the school board, the Washington County, and city. Now how about publishing those who actually live in Washington County and work in Washington County? Publish those names in the paper. Hagerstown. Oh, that is a great idea. And then you should publish their complete criminal records, and their driving records, and their medical histories. Can you believe that these men and women run our governments, educate our children, spend our tax dollars, and I don't even know what their blood types are? There's a surprise. The Republican governor of Pennsylvania is not going to tax natural gas drilling, the companies. That's a real big surprise. They don't want to tax corporations. What is with the Republicans? They don't want to tax these big corporations making billions and billions of dollars every quarter, but yet they want to take Medicare away from the poor. They want to give $15,000 a year voucher. What do you do after that $15,000 is done? You just die? It's the silliest, stupidest thing I've ever seen. Hagerstown. Yeah, you just die. Sound harsh? Look, do you want to balance the budget without raising taxes on the wealthiest people and most profitable industries in the country, or don't you? Because you can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs. I heard President Obama is looking for a new slogan to run for re-election. I say run on change again, and change everything he did the first 4 years. Boonesboro. Cute. But no, forget change. I say he should run on hope again. And finally, from Hagerstown, I'm just watching an episode of this Ken Burns special, Civil War. Let me get this straight. They hanged John Brown for treason because he was fighting for the blacks and he fired upon the soldiers. Well, isn't that exactly what the South did? I mean, if Lincoln wanted to, as to the war, he could have hanged Lee and everybody, but he didn't. And what did he get for it? He got shot and killed by Southern sympathizers. Now, who was right and who was wrong? I'm sorry, but the North was right. Those of you watching this from outside the Washington County area might not appreciate the significance of this, but take my word for it. A Hagerstonian publicly siding with the North in the Civil War is like Hermie the Misfit Elf publicly declaring that he wants to be a dentist, okay? It's like someone from Salt Lake City admitting that he thinks Joseph Smith just maybe might have made the whole Book of Mormon thing up. It's a big deal, and it takes guts and courage. And for that, I salute you, brave Billy Yank, whoever you are, and I wish you well. Thanks for watching.